Last night, a public hearing was held in Old Town as the Maine Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry is proposing to repeal the current emerald ash borer quarantine. This comes after officials say the quarantine is now ineffective after new populations of the invasive beetle were discovered in Benedicta, Anson, Bar Harbor, Belfast, Palermo and Solon. State officials say the movement of the firewood has been primarily responsible for the infestation. Those opposed to stopping the quarantine say that while it's not perfect, it is making an impact.
Last year, we started to see further creep of emerald ash borer on the margins of the existing quarantine in places like Bar Harbor and Solon. And so at that time, we started to contemplate dropping the quarantine. Looks like about 45% of the ash trees in Maine in the forest are within 10 miles of confirmed infestations of emerald ash borer.
Folks really feel that quarantine has made a difference in terms of slowing the rate of spread of the emerald ash borer. It's not yet been detected on tribal lands. Most of our ash trees in the state of Maine is still healthy with no detections of EAB infestation.
The public comment period on this matter is open until August 28th at 5 p.m. Any comments can be submitted to the email gary.fish@maine.gov.